I realized my fulfillment was helping, but I realized my fulfillment more was on healing people. And so then I came back around and I thought to myself, what are all the things that I've learned? I've spent over $1 million on myself doing all these different courses on human behavior, psychology, trauma, and different subconscious transformation techniques and behavioral science. Let me just put all this together and let me think of what was creating the most impact for people. And I was thinking it's really just trying to bring up people's trauma and teach about their relationships, how it's reflecting back to them their most unconscious patterns.
The Connect Coaching, Unplugged.
Good morning, everyone. This is Kallum and Conor from Connect Coaching, and today we have a good friend as a guest. We've known Luke for about 10, 12 years.
10 years, yeah.
Long time. A good friend, Luke Hawkins, who is based in Sydney. We met Luke through the NLP field, and welcome to the Unplugged Podcast number 27, Luke Hawkins.
Amazing.
Thanks for being here, Luke. I'll just do a brief introduction. Luke Hawkins is the CEO of Australia's #1 life coaching school. His school's signature training, Neuro Transformation Therapy, has raised the bar for life coaching industry, which focuses on healing trauma and creating embodied coaches who create the best results for their clients. He has trained over 2,800 plus students from around the world in the last 10 years and has gone from sleeping in his van in 2014, when that was exactly when I met him, to now running his own multi-million-dollar business. Luke, thank you so much for being here. I have been looking forward to this conversation for a long time. You and I met all the way back in 2014 when you were in that van. And I remember not long after we finished our trainings and you seemed to get some instant success and runs on the board. And we had some students that were all in the trainings at the same time. And I remember phone calls like coming into my phone and people ringing up and going, what is Luke Hawkins doing? What is he doing? Like, he's getting clients, he's making money, and how come like it's not working for me? What's going on? And I remember, because I was also talking to you at that time as well. And I remember saying to them, Luke Hawkins is outworking all of us. He is working his absolute bum off. When we're out on Saturday night, Luke Hawkins is working on his next offer, his next training. He's getting everything prepared. Can you tell us a little bit about those days and how this all began for you?
It's so phenomenal because I sat in the prac with you, Cal, in the training, and then Conor was running things at the back. And, it's just wild because, I had the van and I drove it there and was sleeping in it and
You're having showers in Bondi, right? I remember.
Yeah, I was having showers at Bondi.
Having showers at the beach showers in Bondi.
I remember as well, I'm going to bring this up because it's quite funny, because I remember one time I did ask Conor, I said, there's a shower in this St. Leonard's building. Can I, it's down there. Can I have the key? Because I prefer to use that one. And he goes, no, you can't. Get the showers at Bondi. I'm like, fuck. So he goes, cause and effect was day one. Don't be effect. Give me an effect. So, but I learned the hard way from many things, but, I just used what I could and things have turned around. But I think for me, even though that I had probably the least amount of resources in the room back in 2014, starting out, eating fruit and vegetables out the back of the van, I was probably the most motivated, I'd say, the most hungry. And yeah, I really wanted to make it work. I think coming out of the relationship breakup that I had at the time at 2014 was massive fuel for me. And I knew I didn't want to be a school teacher forever. So, I started hitting the streets with quit smoking and helping a lot of people with that. And I met someone else in the training that had a script for it. And so that was starting out one-on-one. I saw a lot of people quit smoking, weight loss, depression, phobias, a lot of, real estate agents, network marketing. And every single day I gave it my best. And before I knew it, things were changing,
At what point did you feel that it was time to put on a Superman outfit and run around the opera house with the Superman outfit on?
Well, I looked online about marketing and they said the goal of marketing is to get people's attention.
Absolutely. That was I was like, talk about flexibility of behavior.
So I actually went there, yeah, in the Superman outfit. I'm going to celebrate that this thing sold out, and I had a couple more seats left. I'm like, this will help me get me some more traction, and it did. And that was before I was ushered away by security.
By security, by the white van and the men in the suit in the white jackets.
So breaking people out of the matrix.
Yeah. Classic. But before, I mean, what? So you said you had a bit of a bad breakup before you, but you were a school teacher, like, because you were from like the central coast of New South Wales or something. What was
From
the?
Central Coast, like living in my mum's house. I was getting one day a week at a school. At that point, I had so much trauma. I was fighting with my mum all the time, and you know, I was still trained as being codependent as well. She was doing my washing and still cooking things for me. And so, but then now I'm trying to coach people as well. And I was seeing people in my bedroom tell them quit smoking. But then the challenge was my mum was actually a smoker. And sometimes we could smell the smoke coming under the door while I'm trying to help someone else to quit.
Hang on, you were seeing quit smoking clients in your bedroom in your mum's house.
At that point, I was
Crazy, right? Talk about being okay with anything. That would have been enough to put people off seeing clients, saying, I don't have an office, I don't have a place to, you know, I don't. And they would have rattled off the whole list of reasons why they can't see clients. But you said, bugger it, I'm going to get results with this person. It doesn't matter where I'm going to get results with this person.
Yeah, it didn't matter. Yeah, and sometimes I'd say, Mum, could you please not smoke between this hour and this hour, because I think and people were like, oh, it's a bedroom. But you know, you talk perception is projection. My projection was that this is fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
Correct. No, I've been saying a bit recently, you have to displace common sense in order to reach greatness. And I think that's an example of absolutely that. You displace common sense. The meme in society, or everyone in society, would say, I can't do this, and you displace that, and you did it, and that then created a bit of a leverage financially in order to invest more into business.
Yeah, I started seeing like 2 or 3 clients a week, charging $400. So before I know it, within the first 12 months, I made 60 grand. So I'd say, you know, almost a grand a week, and that was paying off for me. And yeah, a lot of people that were smoking after that, they had depression or anxiety or wanted to lose weight. So they were wanting more, and smoking is almost a tangible thing where, oh, I was smoking, now I'm not. So they would refer me people as well. And it took me probably, 2 or 3 years of grinding in a little town called Tukley on the Central Coast. And I ran my first training there as well. And my mum used to bring the fruit bowl, and people would come and, you know.
Beautiful. That's actually beautiful. That's
It was amazing. Yeah. And you'd only have my first training was 3 people, September. But then I had 1 person in January of what year was that? Yeah, 2017 or something.
16, I think.
2016, yeah.
In trainers training in Vegas was 2015, because that photo keeps popping up every year on my feed.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, okay. So trainer training was then, and then I ran 3 people in September of that year.
That's right. You have to fly to America because you're like, I can't wait till October.
I can't wait.
I'm like, Luke, it's going to be $8 grand Australian for you to go to America instead of $6 grand, and you're like, I can't. Doesn't matter. I'm going to pay more. I'm going to pay for the flights. I'm going to pay for accommodation. I need to start training now. And talk about hungry. That was hunger.
Isn't it great? Because you guys would see this too, that it's so much predicated people's success on the certainty that you have in yourself. And I just believed that before any of it, that I could sell trainings. Yeah. And it was going to cost me more money to wait 6 months or a year. Because if I sold 1 person into a life coaching training a week, or even 2 a month, I sold $3 grand a ticket. It's going to cost me $6 grand a month for 2 tickets a month minimum.
Opportunity cost for sure.
Yeah.
It
was around that time, or probably just before that I saw some photos on Facebook of you walking around the CBD of Sydney with an A-frame sign on you, like just literally like, I don't know, there was one in the city, and then I think there was one at Edgecliff and at the station there, and you were just, you know, if you want to quit smoking, come and talk to me. And I remember sending that photo to a few people, and I'm like, this is why you're not getting results.
Wow.
because, you know, we saw you just literally just steam ahead with your success. And it was, you know, I knew there was more going on in the background than what we were just seeing on Facebook. I knew that you all were working big days. I knew that you were sacrificing weekends and holidays and Christmases and
Yeah, I
everything
didn't
like
go
that.
the first 3 years. I didn't really go out anywhere. I think I counted less than 5 times. Like I was single, and I didn't go out more than 5 times in a year of being single. I didn't look at girls. I didn't put any attention anywhere else. I was just I needed this business to grow, and I was inspired by people around me, and yeah, and I just kept and I would listen to the audios every day, always. I'd always be listening to the same
Upskilling.
content, and that I think people underestimate that it won't. I think people will only put in the amount of action to the degree they believe that it's worth it or will work.
So what triggered you to put so much into yours?
I think into mine, it was more driven a lot by probably in my own vulnerability, like not feeling enough from this relationship breakup. And that sort of really triggered me to go, wow, I want to become more developed as a man. I want to become more successful. I want to become more valuable that other people would see value in, I guess. And so I had that, and I did enjoy a lot the fulfillment when people were telling me their life had changed, they had transformed, and things had changed for them in any area of their life, in health, business, career, relationships. It was very fulfilling and became addictive to me. The more people I had in the room, the more people that was transforming. That was there was always tears at the end of the trainings, and I was like, fuck, like the feelings are getting better the more people that are in these things. So I loved, it was so fulfilling just to have that with everyone. Yeah.
There is a huge buzz at the end of a large training. There's a buzz.
And
Huge
that's
buzz.
like it.
Yeah.
You actually transform your entire life there. Like you've got the pure AU water in the background there. Like I remember you're a party boy. A friend of mine met you in Ibiza. You know, I remember, you know, you actually absolutely transform your entire life after that point. Like you lived and breathed the healthy lifestyle. You lived and breathed putting your health and your mind and your healthy mindset first above everything else. And so you weren't just the coach, you weren't just the trainer, you were actually being the example as well, which I think is a huge thing for you.
Isn't that big for people? I wanted to be congruent from the front of the room, that whatever I was saying, I actually was living that. And if I was telling people, look after your health or train or work out, then I was doing that. And it's only ever helped me. It's only developed further. Now, you know, I'm doing jiu-jitsu.
I saw that. That's so cool, man.
Yeah, I'm doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu twice a week now. I'm doing boxing twice a week. And that has helped me develop even more of a strong mind. I wish I got into fighting sports earlier, actually. But that has really helped. And I've got a place down here. They've got the sauna and the ice bath as well. So
and you're actually living in Bondi now. You're getting an apartment, which is a full circle.
It's fun. Yeah, I look at the car park where I used to park my van and sleep in it.
Full circle for sure.
It's amazing.
I put a quote up yesterday, and I love it. And it was Steve Jobs, and it says along the lines of most people don't understand this, but most overnight successes took a really long time in order to be an overnight success. And I think that probably sums the 3 years of hustle and grit and resilience that you had to show in order to keep going through that time. Because at any time you could have tapped out of living you could have gone, I'm living in Torquay, nothing's changed. It's been 2.5 years. You know, why don't I just go back and be a personal trainer or a teacher? So what was it that was it the endorphins you received, or the feel good fact that you received to keep pushing? Was it?
Yeah, I think I associated a lot of pain and even failure. I don't think I could look myself in the mirror by quitting or stopping. It became an identity that I am, you know, I am someone who stands for truth. I'm someone that stands for knowing that you can create your best life. It stands for knowing that you can break out of the system and you can live your passion. And I I don't stand for excuses. I don't stand for believing in. I hated the idea of victimhood. I hated it with a passion, and I think, you know, I was driven a lot by just wanting to break out of the system, and you know, believing we were conditioned a lot to be dependent on the system, and I hated being controlled, and I wanted to, yeah, create a great life and stand for something for people. That was it, I guess.
Yeah, that definitely shone through. I mean, you were an inspiration for me. You probably don't know that, but you're an inspiration for me. I was also somebody who listened to the USB audios literally every day on repeat, like nonstop. Whether it was in my plumbing job, on on the way to and from work, or even in my earphones, or when I was in the mining industry, driving and operating machines out there and listening to it flat out. And I was always looking at different ways that I could create exits and opportunities for myself. And yeah, I found a lot of inspiration by what you were doing and the fact that you were doing it. And the story was just so powerful. The story of, like you said, living in your van, but, also coming from a similar, time in your life as I was as well. And seeing how quickly you were able to produce the results you did. And, it did happen, even though it took a long time, it actually was a short time. And I don't think anyone's really moved the needle as much as you did in a short period of time in the Australian coaching game, to see the type of numbers that you were getting to your trainings, and to see just the energy you were able to produce inside of those trainings, and just how like you almost created this. Well, it was a cult following, but it was a positive cult following. Like people just the hungry lions.
Yeah,
just had
Hungry
so
Lions.
much,
Yeah.
so much power and so much energy, and they were like a force to be reckoned with. And I remember meeting a lot of those people that went through that time and seeing where they are now. Like they're hugely successful in their own life.
Fuck yeah. We've had a lot, of successful students. I think one thing that stood out, I was really big on wanting to hold people accountable in the room. So we would go to people in the breakout sessions and during their exercises and go, have you let go of whatever this thing is yet? Have you let go of your shit, or are you still holding on? If you're still holding on, we would be standing there, not fucking letting them leave till they broke through. So we would hold them accountable. And it was a big, it was focused on transformation. Like you can't help anyone unless you've really helped yourself. So don't think just knowing the theory or getting a good test score. Now I don't even run a test. I don't believe in it actually. I've found that the most successful people in this industry are just the most embodied.
Yeah.
So they live in most alignment with their highest values consistently, not just say them, but they live by them,
So growing up, who influenced? I mean, I know Tony Robbins was a big influence with you, and you've studied a lot with Ty Lopez. It was Ty Lopez.
Oh, I went to Ty's house once. Yeah, I did it with Go in the Rain.
What was he like? What was Ty Lopez like? Is it?
Are there a non-disclosure?
Yeah. I went to his house in LA for a day, and then it was that mansion where he's got all the Lambos out the front, and I think he rents it. I don't know. There's controversy over whether he was renting it or he
renting it all.
I do lean towards believing that he was renting it, but it's for him. I think it was very financial, and I think he's motivated a lot by that. Obviously in the process, he's helped people along the way.
He's making like a resurgence at the moment. I feel like he's popping up again in a few places.
Yeah, I had one guy that worked for me that went and worked for him now. Works for him now. But I know he's helping people in the process. But good on him. He just mastered marketing, social media.
Yeah, he did.
And the growing up in Tukely, who was your who were your idols? Who was your inspiration?
I actually remember the first tape because I came back from England as a school teacher, and I met a friend, and he'd done the NLP trainings, and he, did a live coaching session on me, and I'm like, fuck, this is really helping me. And I started out with just Get the Edge tapes from Tony Robbins. He's got one on financial abundance, one on health, one on business career. He's got all different areas. And I was listening to them, thought, wow, this is amazing. And then it all sort of started from there. He was probably the primary and the first.
That was
Yeah.
the trigger.
And you did
Great.
go and spend some time with him as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I've done a lot with him. I've done UPW probably 5 or 6 times now. I've done Date with Destiny 3 times. I'm going again in Miami at the end of the year, back again. And I did the Platinum Partners. That's his highest level program that you pay about 100 grand to join. And I did 2 great programs. I did the wealth trip with him where you learn from billionaires. And then I did the 7-day relationship trip, which was phenomenal. I never learned so much about relationships in my life in one thing. And it was definitely worth it for that too.
Yeah, wow. So you're not just sort of now you're on your ivory. You're not on your ivory tower thinking I've learned it all. I'm now the teacher. I'm now the guru. You're still a student in many ways.
Yeah. I go on Date with Destiny. I've got another coach I see for personal stuff, and then I've got another business coach as well in the States. So yeah, I'm always paying for coaching and wanting to develop myself always.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
So you live and breathe it, you teach it, but you also practice it yourself in your life. And that comes back to the congruency, right? And the alignment and knowing that you can look yourself in the mirror saying that you're a walking, talking example of what you teach and your message for the legacy for the world.
Yeah, so much. Yeah, and just having good rituals. I'm even got stronger now. I've got more hunger even now. Like I had a lot of hunger at the beginning, and then it dropped off a little bit once it got success, and I was able to buy some properties and things like that, and I was comfortable, making 100 to 150 a month, and that's the danger zone as well. And I was comfortable there for a few years, but now it's gotten stronger again, and I'm going to boxing 6 a.m. twice a week. I'm doing jiu-jitsu 6 a.m. once a week, and then on a Sunday, so it's twice a week for that. And yeah, I'm working a lot. We just ran a free life coaching training that we had 1,400 people register for, and we had almost 500 people show up to the first Zoom.
Wow.
Huge.
It was phenomenal. And then I've just graduated like 300 people, and there'll be more to come. And yeah, and I've actually just been taking 20 calls a day recently from 6 a.m. to about 10 at night. There's been I've sold 30 programs in the last week and a half. So it's just finding your way, and not giving up, meeting the right people, build good relationships. I've learned a lot of things from people just from building good relationships and keeping them. I've got a great relationship with you guys, and unfortunately, not everyone that you probably know didn't get to keep that.
Yeah.
But if and I'm always someone like I've made mistakes along the way. Of course I've done unconscious things, and Conor knows about that. In the early days, I had a lot of unconscious things I needed to work on.
Nearly every week. That was a call on Fridays, right?
And then like help me find the truth here, kind of like what values level 5, like who do I need to be? And that Con was always there. I have a lot of my success to kind of like to be like for your help, because you were always there for me, and I could rely on you, and no matter what stupid shit I was doing, you still fucking put up with it and and help me out. So I'm lucky for that. Yeah.
Yeah, you were always like you wear your heart on your sleeve. So I guess with you, it's always been what you see is what you get. There's never been a shadow side to you, if you know what I mean. I don't want to get too deep here, but from the outside, it's like you voice what you're feeling.
Hey guys, Kallum and Conor here from Connect Coaching. I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Unplugged Podcast. We're jumping in to let you know about something really exciting, the Forever Client Matrix.
Absolutely. What we love doing is lighting people up and having them realize that their future is bright, and most importantly, making a difference in this world. So we are very excited to be able to share this with you.
If you want to turn every prospect into a forever client, then please click on the link below in the description and get instant access now to your preview of the Forever Client Matrix.
Enjoy.
And if something isn't sitting right, you'll externally process it until you get clarity on it, and then you move forward. And in that externally processing, part, it may come across as clunky because you'll just say whatever's on your mind. But once you get that clarity and the resolution, bang, you can then move forward at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And that's probably how you operate. And that's why you've been so successful, because you do get off your chest, whatever it is, and then get that certainty back, and then bang, you move forward.
Yeah, yeah. I think that self-honesty piece is huge. I think a lot of people, if they're trying to build a business in this space, if you're lying to yourself about things, about how you're feeling or about what's going on in your life, you're saying things are okay when they're not, you're feeling sad, but you push it down, you're feeling angry and you just disassociate from it. Your emotions, you just disconnect from, or things that are going on in your life that you're out of alignment and you're just like, oh, fuck it, who cares? Like, turn the other way. I was always someone that wanted to find the truth for myself and live by that. And I value that. And of course, there's always times where I've been dishonest with myself, but I always wanted to be someone who could find the truth for myself. And once I do, then I'm back in alignment.
Yeah.
What's your process for doing that? Because there's a lot of people listening that are probably in your shoes right now from 2014. Maybe they're not living out of a van, but they're in a similar situation in terms of how they're feeling emotionally, the struggles that they're having from their past, the conditioning that they've had from all that time. What's your process for that? And is there a simple way that people can overcome that in the moment?
I've seen this. I had an experience in a training where we were at, and I remember there was a lady that was going to buy my course, and I went to sell to her, and she said, oh, I'll think about it, I'll let you know. And then I went and asked for help from someone in the back of the room. I said, this person's not buying my course. Like, I don't understand. I said this, and this. And they said, look, it's your self-doubt. You're doubting yourself. And I would looked at that, and if my ego was so big, I'd say, no, I'm not. No, it's them. They're the problem. I'll externalize it and blame somebody else. But I was like, if I'm actually honest, no, I actually am doubting myself, and I'm not believing in myself, and I need to go back to that person with full certainty. And I think it's just asking those questions to yourself about, what am I not telling myself the truth about? What am I lying to myself about? Maybe I'm saying things are okay and they're not fucking okay. And so I try to ask myself there, like, what is the truth here? What am I scared of? What am I deepest fear here that's driving me? And I want to look that fear in the eye and just go, fuck, is this real or not? Or am I going to decide to throw it away and find something deeper as a truth?
Yeah, I think that's really powerful, because often as coaches, especially from, the field that we all came from, you can start to get into this way of thinking where and I've seen this many times with people that I went through the trainings with, where they just consistently reframe themselves. And they use the reframing over actually discovering what is the root cause, where is this emotional actually stemming from. They just keep reframing themselves. And it creates this like double, triple, quadruple dissociation. And all of a sudden they've just done this like shortcut of suppressing this even further down into their unconscious mind. And that is what prevents them from being successful. I know there's one other person I can think of that went through at the same time as us. And, in my mind, he was probably more talented than both of us, but he just wasn't ready to do the deep work at the time. And I think that's so important to be able to do that where you just see.
Like doing the deep work. I went to Tony Robbins seminars, and I remember sitting there and I would just be fucking bawling my eyes out during this whole seminar, like bringing up my childhood, bringing up my fears, my traumas, my emotions. And some people just push it down, or they'd just, they distract themselves. It wasn't important to them. But for me, it was so important to heal as much as I could of myself and feel my emotions without shame. And I talk about these two types of awareness, where you've got shameful awareness or you've got loving awareness. Shameful awareness will look at your patterns and you go, well, I'm the pattern, so I'll judge myself for it, and usually judge myself negatively. And that brings up so much negative emotion for me and negative self-judgment that I will just push it down or ignore it. And the stuff that's coming up, I'm using that to judge myself, so I'll just avoid it. But the loving awareness, you look at like, I'm not the pattern, I'm not the emotion, I'm not the thought, I'm just this loving observer of all of it, and I can change it. And that's something that I wanted to treat myself as, is even if you bring up emotion, it's like it's a sign of loving yourself and feeling it all. And I'm big on that in the room. I purposely put things to trigger people's emotion to get it out of them. And then they have such a cleaner connection with themselves. Yeah. So I think that's really important to focus on bringing up your stuff, clearing it out, being honest about what's holding you back, and then you can do something with it.
I think as this ties into, obviously over the years things have evolved. There are two questions that I have. But the first one is, I've noticed through all your videos and whatnot that you are focusing on the trauma and the healing side.
Relationships as well. Yeah.
Has that developed over time, or was that always set out from day one, or have you just sort of found that this is actually my drive? This is what I want to do in the world.
Yeah, it became just a real passion to be interested in trauma and human behavior and relationships. I think relationships are probably our biggest teacher of reflecting back to us where our unconscious patterns are and where our unconsciousness is. And from my own relationships, things that, we've had from past breakups that I've had as well. And I was just looking like, why did that person say that? Or why did they do that? And I would just think about it like obsessively. And that's just been something natural for me of why do people do what they do? And that's how it's evolved into that. And yeah, I have frameworks now for it of why people do what they do. And I've created them just from my own reflection.
Yeah, nice. I've seen it get very loud, clear and loud that's the area that you're focusing on. And having this conversation here, I'm now starting to understand how that would have developed over the years. But the second thing I have, which I thought about before, you said that you were doing well, you had a bit of a plateau, but then now you're more passionate than ever with what you're doing. I'm very big on, getting plugged into your why, and I say things like, what's your North Star? What gets you through the storms when things are going, pear-shaped, but you're staying on track. Passion gets me up at 3 a.m. Money gets me up at 6 a.m. All these sorts of things. What is it that you realigned your path? Like what penny dropped, or what aha moment did you have that you went, this is my new level of operation, and this is the direction I'm heading in? What's your why? What pulls you through the tough times and has now reignited you to surge forward with even more gusto?
Yeah, I think the first thing is observing people around me, seeing other people do well. I get very inspired and driven by that. That's the first thing. But in my own honest vulnerability, I would say, relationship breakups. Like the first one that triggered me was 10 years ago, was what I had assigned to myself was rejection, right? And that feeling of oh shit, I wasn't enough for this person. Like that's like how do I awaken more of my potential, become, a greater expression of myself? And then, sort of recently as well, experiencing a breakup as well. It's sort of, that's been a real awakening thing for me. And whenever I experience relationship pains, it reflects back to me or confirms to me that I need to help as many people doing this, because so much of our pain in life is because of our trauma and because of our patterns we've learned. And I don't want anyone to suffer. I don't want anyone to pain. Whenever I'm in deep pain, I'm like, fuck, I know for sure I'm not the only one that's experiencing this. And I know I need to find the lessons to pass this on. If I can help anyone to not feel this or to share this, then that's fulfilling. I'm like I said on Zoom, she was in a relationship and got you for years, never said to her that I love you. And she got on this Zoom and she like broke down of this exercise saying, Luke, I just realized that I was in this relationship for 2 years and I felt so alone in this relationship and rejected. This guy never said I love you to me. And you talk about traits that we disown in ourselves. I realized myself, I've never said to my mum in my life since a child, I love you.
Oh.
And it was like, fuck, like, so she rejected and disowned that trait in herself and then attracted what she wasn't owning, of course, which is how the projections work.
Yes.
To heal that in her. And now because of that, she's like, I'm ringing my mum up now and I'm going to say, I love you. I see, I need to own this trait. I need to awaken this back in me. So can I attract somebody, of a higher experience? Yeah. So that for me is types of things that drive me, that I just figured out. Yeah.
And you're
And
still
is that,
pumping out. Sorry, Cal, after you.
no, you go. You go.
I was going to say, and that drive, like in general, there are certain individuals who will create success and keep going, and there are others who will create success and rest on their laurels. You're still like pumping out 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. I think.
Yeah. My right now the calendar is from 6 a.m. till about 10. Yeah. I have a break. Like I'll go down to the gym and to the sauna or ice bath. I'll try to do that a few times a week, and then I've got to cut, those training sessions with fighting sports. But yeah, that's definitely recently that's what it's been. Yeah.
I've been watching you hit the mitts, and I've just seen you develop that skill very quickly as well. And it was really cool to see you join the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because I want to start doing it myself and get the girls into it as well, because I think that's, I think 4 years old.
Carl,
Got a boy on the way.
If I ever, I don't know, kids, but in the future, having kids, do you have a son? Oh, you only got daughters, Conor, do you?
No, I got a girl. We
Wow.
down here on the South Coast, we took him to a karate lesson, and he was very, very shy. So the discipline, I think element of it. I mean, Taekwondo. I lived in Korea, so everyone did Taekwondo in Korea, and it really helped with the discipline of.
Yeah. If I ever have sons, I'm first thing I'm dragging down to fighting sports. Yeah.
No, he'll be doing it for sure. I want the girls to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because I think that's a good one for the girls.
We actually had David Neath on a couple episodes ago, and he works with Israel Adesanya.
Yeah, he's the mindset coach for Israel. Everyone from City Kickboxing in New Zealand, Israel Adesanya, Kai Kara France, Dan Hooker, a bunch of other guys as well. So it was really cool to hear that. Actually, that episode with him was really fascinating because of some of the ideas he had around what it takes to be a champion. So I really, really enjoyed that one. If you're interested, go and check it out. One thing I did want to touch on, because there has been a huge evolution with your journey, and you had a stack of modalities. You've already mentioned about all the different people that you've worked with. You've gone and done all their trainings. You've gone and learned from them. And I guess out of that, and out of your experience, that, knowledge combined with experience leads to wisdom. Through that wisdom, you've actually created your own modality, Neuro Transformation Therapy. So can you tell us how that evolved? And it sounds like you've really narrowed down your skill set into a particular area with trauma healing and relationships. Was that what you had in mind when you developed this new way of doing things?
No, it wasn't. I actually, when I was in Platinum Partners, I was lost in my direction, because, as you guys know, I was running them under the umbrella of NLP, and I wanted to express more of myself without any box around it from someone else, and I wanted to still be successful with it. I was initially advised to I took from that to get into running business trainings. So I started running business trainings for a little while. And then I realized my fulfillment, yes, it was helping, but I realized my fulfillment more was on healing people. And so then I came back around and I thought to myself, what are all the things that I've learned? I've spent over $1 million on myself doing all these different courses on human behavior, psychology, trauma, and different subconscious transformation techniques and behavioral science. Let me just put all this together and let me think of what was creating the most impact for people. And I was thinking, it's really just trying to bring up people's trauma and teach about their relationships, how it's reflecting back to them their most unconscious patterns. And everybody's healed until you say, like, what are you doing in your relationship that's triggering you or what's caused breakups for you? And so I just evolved it over time and created my own models around why people do what they do and where trauma comes from and what triggers us and what causes us to attract things in our life and what creates our patterns. And so, yeah, that all came as accumulation then from my experience as well. You know, I've seen thousands of people one-on-one as well as training them. And so that all came together just from that and seeing that people that if I could trigger them and bring up their negative emotion, then it became very real for them. And then I was thinking, how could I find ways to release it out? And I just kept evolving them. And that's how it happens in the room. Yeah. Yeah. Even people that have done a lot of trainings in the past, I still usually can find ways to bring up it's layers. Yeah. You think that I had this. I thought I was in a really good place, and then another relationship came along. But there was another layer of stuff I didn't even know, I wasn't aware of. And I actually think it's just, you know, evolving, letting go of things and more, you know, layers over time. And yeah, we think we know who we are, but the more inner work you do, you sort of.
It's the more inner work, but it's also when you set bigger and larger goals. Conor and I discovered that, you know, often you won't even know what is unconscious inside of you to be dealt with if you are just in your comfort zone. If you're just setting the same bar for yourself and you're able to jump over that bar easily, it's the same height as it has been every other day of your life. There is no new stuff that comes up. Wow. When you set that bar higher and higher and higher each week, each month, each year, then as a result, it's going to bring up the unconscious stuff that's lying underneath that's preventing you from being able to achieve that. And we've actually discovered through our experiences that isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's actually representative of you achieving your goals. If that wasn't there, if those negative emotions, limiting beliefs, you know, decisions that you've made in the past weren't aligned, if those things didn't come up to the surface, or if you didn't find those challenges or those roadblocks, you wouldn't have set your bar high enough. You wouldn't. It's actually a indication that you're getting closer to achieving your goal. And I like what you've said all the way through this podcast is, who do I need to be? Who do I need to become? You're learning through those challenges, those roadblocks, those hurdles, who you are needing to become as a result of setting these bars higher and higher. So, yeah, I look at things totally differently. Whereas when I first started, I guess I thought once I'd finished the first training, I was going to be, you know, have let go of every negative emotion for good and every limiting belief for good. And that would have been the case had I not have set the bar higher.
I've seen that. Yeah, and your subconscious mind will only present, I believe, what it feels safe to present and release. Yeah. So I feel that's definitely a journey, right? Yeah.
So, buddy, what's next for you? What's on this passions vision that you have? Where are you going to be doing your trainings from the moon next? Is it going to be from your?
Are you talking to Elon? Are you talking to
Elon? I hope so. It would be amazing. Well, I think in terms of the trainings, yeah, they're growing. Got a big training coming up. There'll be, probably at least 40 or 50 on the Zoom, and probably at least 120 in the room. And so that'll be good. And yeah, I'm just really driven to keep growing the numbers in the room because I just love the training so much.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, you as a like, what's next for you? You're focusing on your business. Do you have maybe like a 10 or 20 year long, you know, vision for yourself?
I probably just, helping a lot of people, like thousands of people. I want my rooms to be a certain size. I've got that in my head. And that's one thing. Beyond that, I like, growing my wealth as well, investing in things. I've been growing properties and things like that. And doing that and just improving my health. I love getting in good shape. I want to keep getting better and better at boxing and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I love that. And
any competitions there, or is that's strictly for
I don't know. I haven't done one yet, but I'm getting better.
Is it corporate fights? Is it corporate the boxing thing?
That's what is it? Couch to cage or something like that.
Is it? I don't think I wouldn't do like MMA or anything, but I wouldn't discount possibility down the track if I keep going with the boxing. Who knows? And jiu-jitsu is a bit harder, taking a longer time. There's a lot of moves to remember in boxing. I'm sorry, in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu is like playing chess. It's a whole other.
Yeah, I wish I started earlier with that, but it's pretty cool. You're learning how to put people in headlocks, arm locks, foot locks, you know, different chokes. It's pretty amazing. I do love that.
Sounds awesome. No, but it's actually the discipline required. I think probably I'm not I'm probably not as into it as such. Like I probably would have been back in the early day before I had the kids.
You just have to listen to me talking about it all the time.
Yeah, but what I do appreciate is the discipline, the mental discipline in order to do that. And discipline is what I mean. You have resilience and grit, but also the discipline that got you through those 3 years through Talkly as well back in the early days.
Yeah.
Do you have a very disciplined life? Are you strict on yourself? Is it conscious discipline, or you just built that way?
No, I think it's conscious discipline because I used to be a maniac.
Okay.
It's just empty. Like, I don't know. I used to go out and get drunk all the time before all this stuff. But, you know, now I'm not. I haven't been out in a while now. And I just, I love reading. I love learning. And I am disciplined on my calendar. For now. It's back to back. And I like it that way. I'm back. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm enjoying working harder than I ever have before. And
Yeah, you're loving it.
I think that's where my headspace is sort of right now. Yeah.
Yeah, nice one.
So if people were listening to this and they were hearing that you had this big event coming up, how would they know they were the right person to come on?
How do they know? If you know that you have stuff you need to deal with, then you should come.
And when you say stuff to deal with, you're talking about, say, you know, past traumas or things that they need to heal, relationships that they are having trouble.
You're holding yourself back on some level. You know that you are not living your potential. You know that there's trauma there. You know that you're getting pain in your relationships, or emotionally you're struggling, or you're just not where you want to be in your career or business. It's for really getting to the deep what's underneath that about why you are stuck. And so we do bring it up and transform it. And I do coach people to become coaches, and obviously it's a coaching training as well. But I don't believe people can become really successful at doing that until they really go deep on themselves and do the, you know, best level of healing they can for themselves.
So they actually become, they go there, it's sort of a two-pronged approach. They go there both as a personal development experience and also a professional development experience as well.
Yeah, I call coming there to heal, transform the self, and learn, you know, these great tools and techniques and frameworks to get the best results for your clients as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
That's work.
whole thing.
Well, buddy, I'm gonna end today with a bit of a joke.
Okay.
Every now and then, my daughter she'll handwrite a little joke and slide it under my door, because the garage is just next to my door, and the point is like every time said no. Daisy
her.
Daisy me rolling. 10-year-old joke. These are the things that give me purpose.
That's amazing.
I love it.
Luke, massive thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day. I hope you don't charge us for it. And wish you all the best. You've absolutely worked your butt off, and you've asked for help along the way. You've never sat there and thought, I can do this by myself. I don't need any help. You've always picked up the phone and asked, and you've invested in the areas of growth that you knew you needed in order to go to the next level. So you're sort of walking, talking billboard of the effectiveness of everything that you do. So congratulations on your success and for influencing and making an impact in the world.
Yeah, we're stoked for you, buddy. Keep it up.
Thanks, boys. And I've loved seeing the work you guys are doing. Keep helping, keep transforming people. It brings a smile on my face, all the posts you're doing. And you're out there amongst it, you know, getting.
Thanks, man. Feels good. Feels good to be out here with you.
Hey guys, Kallum and Conor here from Connect Coaching. I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Unplugged Podcast. We're jumping in to let you know about something really exciting. If you are a practitioner, a coach, or a trainer in the alternative therapy modality space, the Forever Client Matrix is something that we've modeled in the last 30 combined years, both Conor and my experience. And we've turned it into a 2-day intensive, and we want to give you a preview of that Forever Client Matrix.
Absolutely.
We want to make the bar for them to enter into that program very, very low and have them get incredible results.
I've sold about $40 million worth, and together we've sold about $100 million worth with our teams.
That's right. We believe that trust and reliability is the currency of the future. So if you want to turn every transaction into a transformational experience, if you want to turn every prospect into a forever client, then please click on the link below in the description and get instant access now to your preview of the Forever Client Matrix.
Enjoy.